This is a video to accurately show the condition of Vectris. She is a project and was built in 1974. She had the same owner from 1975 up to 2020. I purchased her in 2021 and had plans to move to the area, however life had other ideas. Therefore she now needs a new owner. Could that be you? The Albin Ballad is a Swedish sailboat that was designed by Rolf Magnusson as an international offshore rule half-ton class cruiser racer and first built in 1971 up until 1982, with roughly 1,500 boats built in total. These fantastic boats have an excellent following with plenty of online resources such as forums and groups on Facebook, as well as an active club in the southwest of the UK. Vectris is hull number 141. Has a masthead sloop rig with aluminium spars, a keel-stepped mast, wire standing rigging and a single set of unswept spreaders. The hull has a rake stem, a raised counter, reverse transom, a skeg-mounted rudder controlled by a tiller with an extension and a fixed fin keel. It displaces 3,300 kilograms and carries 1,550 kilograms of lead ballast. The design has sleeping accommodation for 6 people, with a double V-berth in the bow cabin, 2 straight settees in the main cabin, with 2 pipe berths above them. The main cabin also has a drop-leaf table. The galley is located on the starboard side, just forward of the companionway ladder. The galley is L-shaped and is equipped with a 2-burner stove and a sink. A navigation station is opposite the galley on the port side, and the enclosed head is located just aft of the bow cabin on the starboard side. So here is the chain locker. You can see just a little bit grubby, and moving back obviously I will show you the V-berth. So here now you can see the V-berth without the cushions down obviously. It's got a carpet lining. There is a few drip marks, but that's just condensation from the bolts. I've just spent about 2 hours washing the top and there's no fresh leaks. It's just condensation. Inside here there's obviously the water tank there, but in here there's ample storage space. You can see the previous owner had made some nice shelves, and inside there you will find all the service parts and stuff for the engine. The boxes, so this has got all the engine spares in. I believe there's enough there for 2 full services. I can't remember, it's been literally years since I've looked in there. And here there's other little spares, electricals, some sandpaper. Yep, and they will be in here. Here it is now with the mattresses. I believe they're the original ones, and to be honest with you, they're in really good condition. You know, the light fittings are here, and I believe there is bulbs that I purchased for it. I just haven't got around to putting them in. Obviously here is the woodwork. You can see it could do with a coat of varnish, however it's not falling apart. And the same for this side. See here, again, light fitting, the cover is there. There are bulbs. Here it is in fisheye lens. Alright, and we'll work back. Here is the wardrobe area. Inside here is where all these lines and halyards were. They will be going back in there. I'd love to tell you what they're all for. Truth be told, I don't know. But there's obviously everything you need here, as this boat was sailing and on the water about 4.5 years ago, at which point it was taken onto dry land for having some work done. But you can see here just how tough this boat is. So you have all these spreader plates running across, tying in the bulkheads, and then that of course goes out to one of the chain plates. In this bag there are 4 harnesses with double eyelets, so that obviously you can strap yourself in while at sea. There's a seat here to go up the mast. These are the bolts for the grab rails for the saloon. In this bucket here there are all the things you need to put the mast back on. There's the rubber chocks, or however you call them. The instructions for how to attach it and how it should be set up are all in the owner's book. There's some stainless pins there and a rusty bolt. There's a little first aid kit again. This is just all the things that the boat came with that I'm showing you so that you know exactly what it is you're going to get. Here is the head area. The freshwater pump needs attaching. This is probably going to want a service, but you know, again, not been used in about 5 years, or at least 4.5. Little sink. Again, obviously there's the foot operated freshwater there, room to put whatever. Now you can have a look in the saloon without the cushions down. Again, obviously all the spares are there, all the new stuff. See, plenty of storage spaces. Same here. Here is the fold-up table. This goes away nicely. And the stoves here. See that, and then see, this is what the main bulkhead looks like. Barometer there. The reading lights have got new LED bulbs in, and they're absolutely fine. Again, obviously, it could all do with a sand and a lick. I almost went through my foot. Could all do with a sand and a lick of varnish. Yeah. And then obviously these go up like this and tidy away, and obviously the same here. Loads of spare bits in here, wires, winch handles. There's an obscene amount of stainless steel Jubilee clips. And that's obviously in addition to this bag of brand new stainless steel Jubilee clips. In here there are old bits of cutlery and stuff. There's even a nautical apron. In here is some frying pans. Just not as interesting. And in here, in here there's a whole bunch of odds and sods. There's electrical bits, blocks, mainsail, kick straps. Yeah, plenty of bits. Plenty of bits, screws, plugs. There's also storage in here. And here is obviously all the wiring that goes to the mast there. Yeah. More heater there. This is going to be here, so nobody loses it. While we're here, I'll show you the electrics now. The yard man has been in here to pump some of the water out with his starter battery, because as you can see, due to the condition of the locker lids in the cockpit, rainwater does get in. So electrics on this do work, but I would personally replace it all, and for that reason I'm including where is it? Obviously this switch panel's a bit nastier, you don't have to use that, but there's, you know, a brand new fuse box there. There's plenty of connectors, there's shrink wrap, there is also obviously a brand new screwdriver set that's just faded in the sun from being in here. There's all these brand new lights, you know, mast lights, steaming lights, navigation lights. There is a brand new shore power hookup kit. Again, you know, that's worth a few quid. There's a brand new fascia panel for the engine instruments. There are two brand new air vents, like I mentioned earlier, because obviously these are pretty knackered, but there's one there and one in the head. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things with it. Again, you know, I'm gonna forget things, you know, but yeah, there's hoses there for the fresh water, and then here is the correct size reinforced hose for all the bilges and stuff. Again, you know, here's a pin tool for the rudder. It's brand new, I made it myself and machined it. I would recommend getting some new bushes made because I can't guarantee that that isn't nylon. But again, they're there. Here's the brand new cutlass bearing. Again, that will obviously need bolting on and then fiberglassing over. There is the original stern gland. This requires 25mm seals. I believe they are 25, 30, 38 sevens, and then a white metal bearing to go in between, although I don't quite understand the purpose of that. There is obviously these grab handles. They go up here, that way, so this goes on the outside. And again, I'll go through all this stuff again when I do a final sort of walkthrough section. But yeah, there's a good amount of stuff. I just wish I lived closer and I had the spare time, because this would be honestly a lovely boat with a bit of effort, you know. It doesn't need a full rebuild. It would just benefit from obviously a bit of cosmetic TLC, a little bit of mechanical work, some electrical work, which also, you know, it's really cheap now to set up electrics. You know, I've got a lithium-ion battery in my van that costs like 180 quid, and 2 of those you'll be able to live on here, no worries. So yeah. So now we'll show you the galley area. In there is the seacock. You've got the freshwater pump, not sure. Either way, again, there's plenty of hose to connect up 2-foot pumps. I'm pretty sure it'll be salt water here. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Stainless steel sink, obviously. A cool box. You can convert these into a fridge, should you wish. Gimbaled stove. Obviously, this comes up. Nice stove. Again, more storage space. Change the camera over. And again, storage for plates, cups, mugs, glasses. There's also a hatch here that goes into the bit behind the bulkhead there. Usually you can put a bin bag there or something, then you can obviously access it through the outside locker lid. Now this area is obviously the chart table. Oh, better move that light first. Yeah, this light I'm just going to leave here because it'll be handy. Yep, there you go, chart table, some bits. I don't know if any of this works, I'll be honest with you. There's a GPS there, bolt croppers, the oldest torch I've ever seen, funnels, yeah, and under there's a toolbox that's got some random tools in. Again, that's where the battery lives. It slides out for easier access. Obviously there's no batteries with it. The chair folds away. And then the world's oldest split charge relay. Again, be very easy to replace that with a DC to DC charger now. For not a lot of money you could have a really good setup in this. I would personally go over it all and check it. So the engine is a 3YM20 Yanmar. Believe it was installed brand new in 2003. Obviously doesn't look like that anymore. It will need some leak off pipes, I imagine. But it turns over. Obviously looks like the water pump is turning with it. Sorry, that's very bad videography, but see, that's turning over. So again, obviously it will need attention, but not a lot. A service kit's included. A lot of the parts for these can be had for a lot cheaper if you cross-reference with Kubota models, and yeah, you know, it wouldn't take much to get it to work. I mean, I don't even have a starter battery here to actually kick it over. Alternator possibly doesn't move, I don't know, but yeah, this is why it just needs someone with time to have a good look over it. And also this was winterized before it was obviously taken ashore. You can see there, still good amount of oil in there. Actually, now I've rotated it, obviously it's moved up a bit, but yeah, it's all good. It just needs some time and it will do someone very well. So here's the hull. We'll do a walk around the outside so you can get a real good look. It's been painted a couple of times before, and obviously some of that is peeling off. There is new vinyl inside where, should you choose to paint it, obviously you can do that little swage line nicely. See, it's pretty good all along the front. Main thing is there are no nasty bubbles or anything. I'll walk around slowly so that you can see very easily, or that's the plan anyway. Encapsulated keel, so no worry of it falling off. There's a 1.5 tons of ballast in there. Again, you see there's a bubble here, that's just underneath the paint. I mean, looking at the top deck and obviously the hull here, I think the guy who had it for a majority of its life obviously did a lot of things himself, but maybe didn't fully prep it. As you can see, look, it's all just sort of flaking off a little bit. And the same up on the deck once I get up there to show you. But yeah, it's all in very good condition, to be honest with you, structurally, in my opinion. It's just cosmetically, it's not amazing. But she's an old girl, she's 51. That's obviously got a leak down there from where I was washing it yesterday, so that's normal, of course. These all rotate and they also move freely. There's clips there for the spray hood. Spray hood is over there. The frame is good, but the canvas itself isn't amazing. However, everything is there to use as templates should you choose to make one yourself. The fabric's quite cheap to buy. Again, just depends how hands-on you are. It is all something I was going to do myself. No, you can see he's just stuck the tape over what's under there. But yeah, paint's just flaking off. Structurally, she's very sound. And then obviously we can see there the skeg hung rudder. There's the bracket for the P clamp or the P bracket of the cutlass bearing. Again, that's inside, brand new bearing in there. Just needs fitting, fiberglassing over. There it is. Obviously I didn't get a chance to wash the hull. I just don't have enough time. But yeah, it's just grubby. You can see it. There's the name, Vectris, again faded. Swimming stairs. Again, it just could do with cosmetic touch-ups. You know, where it's obviously been painted before and not prepped correctly. And it looks like also it was a very thin coat. Let's go down here. See, it is all pretty good. Yeah, so the P bracket bolts onto here with M8 countersink bolts, and then it just needs glassing over. It's a very common failure point on these, so obviously once you fit that, good opportunity to get some strength back in there. That's where the prop comes out. Now the prop shaft I have, however, it is damaged from wear, and it's actually the initial reason this boat was taken out of the water is because the shaft itself was super worn around the cutlass area. That in turn wore it out around where the stern gland goes, and of course it was letting in water because, surprise surprise, if you've got a 25mm seal but a 24.8mm shaft, it's not going to be watertight. Again, I actually made an attempt to repair it because I had some time at work. However, I haven't had time to then machine it back. So for the sake of, I don't know, £250, or you can just get a new one made. The old one is there to use as a template. Again, if I had access to a better lathe at work, I would have made it myself. However, the breaker's knackered on it and it's got a lot of backlash and play in the headstock bearings on the spindle. So here is starboard side. Is it the starboard side? Look, I don't know. This is how good I am at sailing stuff. But yeah, all the drain holes there. Again, the hull is in really good shape. It just needs some cosmetic work. Obviously we'll need anti-fouling. But yeah, here you can see quite well. It's an encapsulated keel, and it's not going to fall off like this one here. You see that join line there? That's it's okay, it's obviously common, but it's an unnecessary risk. This being encapsulated makes it 10 times better. And again, there's a drain hole there. Looks like it's been filled in. But yeah, structurally this boat is amazing. Like I said, it just needs some cosmetic attention. 90% of the work this boat needs is cosmetic. Of course, if you're not bothered about aesthetics, you don't need to worry about it. Just have a little check over the engine, sort the prop shaft, fit the rudder, which I'll show you in a second, get the mast in, and you can go sailing. So here's the rudder. I have made this, the internals of it I've made myself. This is 316 stainless steel bar. Inside there are fingers that obviously go into the closed cell PU foam. And then I had a very, very skilled and experienced fiberglasser who deals with boats and racing yachts, and also used to work for Sunseeker. He fiberglassed this for me. Cost me a lot of money, took a lot of time. To make the internals of it, I actually found the original drawings on the Ballad Club website. It's a very good, useful forum. And on there they have a lot of references for technical drawings for various components. So this is made exactly to how it should be. And obviously these, on this particular boat, the Achilles heel is this leading edge where it cracks and lets water in. So suspect the reason why the one from it originally has gone missing, because somebody else had one that failed and they decided to take this one, which is very annoying. We'll move on to the top deck now. Again, you can see from here that cosmetically it is lacking, but I'll climb up and show you around. So these are the old vents when these were fitted with petrol engines, but again they're a useful outlets for the diesel heater that this comes with, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Again, I've given it a good wash, but as you can see, obviously the paint's flaking off. This bright work here, that obviously could do with some sanding and a bit of varnish. These locker lids, they need replacing. Currently, they're obviously very warped. I've tied them down from the inside, but they do let rainwater in, so while it's here, obviously it does get a bit of water down in there that runs through this side of the engine. I'm going to put duct tape over the edges of them before I go to see if that helps. So you can see there, it's where the rudder would come through. Again, there's all new hoses for all of this. There's new Jubilee clips. There's the manual bilge pump. There's loads of random bits of woodwork. But again, there's also bits of wood over there that I took out of this just to get access. I will put them back in the lockers because you can then maybe use them as templates to make new ones or chuck them away. It's up to you. Here's the instrument panel. You can see obviously it's in a bad way, but there's a new fascia included. There's also a nice new bit of timber you can use. There's a selection of teak in there, or there's something else that a nice chap gave me. I can't remember what it's called, but you can't get it anymore, to make all this new. This is where the nameplate was. I do have that. It looks lovely. I will find it and I will post it to whoever buys the boat along with the register document. There's also a piece of timber that goes across here for the traveller car track. The traveller car I have repaired and made new acetal wheels for it. So here's all the stuff, some tools, electrical items, light bulbs, new air vents like I said, new steaming lights, anchor lights, mast lights, everything, shore hookup kit, some stainless steel vent covers. I was actually going to put it over that vent by the throttle lever, fuse boxes, pin tools, the P bracket for the cutlass bearing, hoses. Here is some of the bright work. So these are the grab handles that go on the top deck. Tiller handle with the mirror polished bracket, whatever you want to call it, that will then bolt to this piece that I've made. Again, very sturdy, clamps on super tight, a little bit too tight to get it on, so I'm actually also including a 25mm reamer. These are curtain rails for this side, but unfortunately the brackets have broken. I'm sure there are other things you can get to sort that out. Again, all the sails are in the front. Right, now I'm actually going to show you the top deck. Here's all the paperwork that I showed earlier. Furling boom. It's a bit of a rarity, I believe, but again, seems fine. And in there, I believe there are 2 or 3 different mainsails. I cannot recall now, but I know there's at least one that's in fantastic condition. So here's the top deck. That's just covering up the mast hole. Again, covered up all the screw holes. That's where the grab rails go. Again, condition-wise, it's just cosmetics. These are obviously look worse than they are because this has got an obscene amount of paint on it, and that's why it looks so cracked. Would just need sanding back and, you know, doing again. Windows. Looking inside the boat, it doesn't appear that they leak. But again, wouldn't be hard to change the seals. The window on this side does have some UV cracks, as you can see there. But I believe it's just Perspex, again, really cheap to get. Along here were some wooden panels. I have had new ones made out of some teak, and they are in there. You just need to fit them, varnish them, do whatever you want. There's obviously a pile of fenders, although they look pretty nasty. The mast is there, needs a good scrub, but again, it's all there. Rigging doesn't look too bad, the standing rigging, I mean. The rigging itself could definitely do with replacing. There's a life raft there. 2 types of anchors. There's obviously the sand anchor there, and behind there is also a delta anchor. Again, it'll all be on the boat, ready for you. So, yeah. Winches are all good. There's a pot of white grease so that they can be serviced. And also, as well as obviously these rather dated companionway covers, there are some tinted Perspex ones in there that were an optional extra from 1975, which are quite lovely. So there you have it. So the final bit is the mast. Although it's dirty and I haven't had a chance to clean it, it's in good condition. All these lines do look pretty bad, however, obviously they'll need replacing. Furling Genoa. This is where the new mast light can go. You can see again, it's in good shape, it just needs a clean. The other stay is obviously over there. See, the rigging looks okay. That's a bit budget, really. A bit of a bird there. It's got a track for a spinnaker pole. all these clips are decent. And here's for the furling boom. Obviously turn that, sail comes down, goosenecks not too bad. Winch could do with a service, but again, all the grease is included. It's really not, it's all just needs time, and if you've got time and want something to do, this is ideal. Don't really know the purpose of this bit of wood. It's so that you can tighten it. Yeah, it all looks pretty decent. Now, I work with stainless steel all the time, and trust me, I've seen some horrible things. This is fine. Absolutely fine. And again, like I say, there are instructions on board on how to set this up. There's the furling main. It's not great that it's obviously stored like this, but there's not much I can do about that. And again, all the wiring's up here, but it's all there to be replaced. And all the pins are on board. And that's it. So that's all there is to show you. I've tried to be as clear as I can be. I'm obviously very disappointed that I won't get a chance to finish this. If life hadn't gone differently, this would never have obviously been for sale. I stand by the fact that I think this is an amazing boat and it's got a lot of potential. It's very well built, it's a good size. Yeah, and it just needs a happy new owner that, you know, can give it some time. Thank you for watching.